Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Dayspring Discussions. I am your host, Sean McGahee, and this is the show we talk about movies, TV, sci-fi, fantasy, comic books. If you geek out about it, we're going to talk about it. We are here on this gloomy Sunday afternoon. It's raining outside, but it's all sunshine in here because I'm here with the always lovely Miss Lisa Locke McGahee.
Hello.
All right, guys. Well, before we get to the main topic that Lisa and I both want to discuss, we're going to go through...
we can't just start with that?
No, we're going to follow format, okay?
Oh, man.
We're going to follow format, okay? There are rules to this show, okay, guys? So if you're just tuning in for the first time, here's how it's going to go. Lisa and I are going to run down stories that happen from Marvel and DC. Then we go into Star Wars and Harry Potter, if there are any, and then miscellaneous stuff. All stories that broke last week or within the last day or so. And we're going to chat about them and discuss them. And then, of course, you guys chime back on social media and let us know what you think about what we think.
Why in the world did you just do air quotes around discuss that?
Well, I'm trying to be animated, so it helps my inflection to get my point across to this audience.
All right.
Okay? I know what I'm doing, okay? I have professional training in this. No worries. All right, guys. So, starting out with some Marvel news, Netflix and Marvel has released new images or promotional posters for their upcoming Luke Cage series that comes out at the end of this month. Now, one of the ones that seemed particularly interesting to me was one where actress Alfre Woodward... Alfre, is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Why is the elf in there?
Where?
Alfre, see?
Oh.
Anyway... Miss Woodward plays Maria Dillard, who in the comics is a hoodwise gang leader, but it appears in the show, Luke Cage, she's going to be more of a rising politician in Harlem. The quote on her poster says, "Politics is where the power is," and she aims to gain enough influence to enact lasting changes in Harlem. Now, one of the things that I found interesting was that Miss Woodward also played a character in Captain America's Civil War. If you remember, she was the grieving mother who blamed Tony Stark for her son's death in Sokovia. Now, I looked this up. So, on IMDb, under the Captain America Civil War, her character's name was Miriam. But, of course, in this show, the character's name is Maria Dillard. Mariah Dillard, excuse me. So, but they're the same universe. These Netflix series are still the Marvel universe. So the reason I'm talking about this is, do you actually think they just got her to play a different role? Or is this the same woman with a different name? What do you think, Lisa? Do you think that Marvel just kind of misstepped or what?
I don't know. I mean, either way, it seems kind of weird to me because it seems unlikely that they were just misstepped. That it was just two separate people doing the casting or something, and they just weren't communicating.
I don't think so.
That doesn't seem likely to me. I mean, Alfre Woodward she's an amazing actress.
Yeah, she's a great actress. Yeah, that small scene she had in Civil War was great.
I mean, everything she does is amazing, but it does seem weird that they would have her in another Marvel property as a different character.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's one of those things like they said, Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper, who are voices in Guardians of the Galaxy, they said that maybe they could play other live action characters because you don't see their faces. Here in Civil War, we saw her face. So first off, to get her to play another character in the same universe is a little weird, but also the fact that it's so soon since Civil War came out as well. If this was 10 years from now, separation from Civil War, that's fine. So for me, this immediately goes to say this isn't a misstep by Marvel or an oopsie. I'm thinking either A, twin sister, or B, conspiracy theory.
I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, maybe, I think it may have to do with the fact that on IMDb or whatever her name was, they just changed her name for the series. Since she was such a small part of Civil War, they just gave her some name because they never really said her name, I don't think, in Civil War, did they?
No, I don't think so. But they talked about her son, so there was a last name at least.
Yeah, and I actually don't remember his last name.
I don't either.
We'll have to go back and rewatch it. Yeah. We'll have to go back and rewatch Civil War, and which I've been meaning to do anyway, so gives me an excuse. But yeah, so I think there's more to it. I think if the logical choice, the logical route for me is that, she is a grieving mother, and she sees all these superheroes or superpowered beings. Yeah, she goes to Tony Stark and, kind of scolds him a little bit. And then she decides to gets involved in, politics. and tries to clean it up.
Don't they say in that scene too? She works for the State Department.
Is it? Is always said?
I think that's what she says.
We'll have to go back and watch the movie.
She works for the State Department. I mean, I think she's like a receptionist or something. I don't think she has a high like role or anything in the government. But if she does have a job in the State Department, even at a low-ranking thing, she certainly would have connections to help her move into politics.
Yeah, that would definitely make sense. Like, I think it's her actions of what we saw in Civil War gives her the what I'm looking for, the initiative or motivation to actually step up and do something about something she thinks is going wrong. So
I guess
we'll just have to wait and see about that. But any interest at all watching Luke Cage? No. See, I always thought you'd enjoy. I told you and Teresa you need to watch Jessica Jones.
I'm not saying I wouldn't like them. I just don't really watch much TV. You know how I am. I get on a kick.
I know. You've been watching this one show nonstop. What's it called?
Murdoch Mysteries.
Murdoch Mysteries, some Canadian show.
I just found it.
And she's been watching it nonstop for like a week.
Hey, I'm in the middle of season 5 now.
Okay, well, see, there we go. All right, so don't tell me you don't have time.
No, I'm just saying I choose what I have time for, which is the same thing you do.
Okay.
And every once in a while, I get on a show kick and I watch it. I watch through, and right now I discovered Murdoch Mysteries.
I can't say I
like it.
I think we all just have our shows, I mean, for me, if I get a season of TV that I really like, I just watch it nonstop as well. So
I know.
We all have our kicks, and
we just happen to like different kinds of TV shows.
Well,
I'll take like a detective murder mystery show any day of the week.
But I don't see. Okay, my problem with a lot of those shows is they're so procedural, and it's like, okay, we'll solve this entire mystery. Like I like what they're doing now with a lot of shows where they're taking one.
Like in Bones, where it's like a thing over the whole the whole season.
Yeah, whole season, one problem over the whole season, as opposed to just each episode is a different case. Kind of, it seems a little too easy for me.
I like it both ways.
Well, I'm gonna just go past that comment and move on to the next story. All right, guys. So speaking with Yahoo News, actor Hugo Weaving. Can't say anything right today, talked about him playing the Red Skull in 2011's Captain America: The Civil War. He said, quote,
Captain America, the First Avenger.
See how bad I'm doing today?
Do you want me just to read the story?
I'm totally off. Oh, no, I'll get it right, okay? Remember, you correct me a couple times, and then I get it right afterwards. That's how our relationship works, okay?
A couple times, yes.
So Weaving said, quote, I thought it would be a lot of fun to play a classic uber-Nazi, someone who thought Hitler was a pussy. It was fun to play. I enjoyed the outrageousness of the German accent that I employed, and I enjoyed the extraordinary mask and costume, even though it was unbelievably hot inside. Now, talking about working with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or within the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he said, quote, with Marvel, it's pretty basic stuff. Accept the deal and enjoy the ride. It's not a major stretch for an actor, but on the other hand, the difficulty of the Marvel Universe is maintaining a link to a human dimension within such an extraordinary technological CGI universe. In terms of going back and doing another one, I don't know. I'm not sure what they're up to with the Red Skull. Now, the reason I want to talk about this story a little as well is because several years ago, back in 2012, Weaving actually said that he had no interest in coming back and playing the Red Skull, saying, quote, not something I would want to do again. This looks like he might have changed his tune a little bit. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean...
Okay, so the last time we saw Red Skull, he was in the first Avenger, and he had the cube, and he got sucked up into the cosmos. I mean, he could be disintegrated for all we know, but most people thought, he just, went off into the galaxy. And so much that general audience members thought that it was actually Red Skull at the end of Avengers instead of Thanos when he turned his head. They were like, is that... several people asked me, is that Red Skull? I'm like, no, it's totally different character. But
if they had a legit reason to pull him back into the universe, then of course I'd be on board. I mean, Hugo Weaving is awesome. Like, I liked him as the Red Skull. I like him in anything he does. So, I mean, if Marvel decided they had a legit reason in one of their films to bring him back in, then sure. I mean, we all know that Marvel's villains are not their strong suit. So when they have a good one...
I think if you divide it in half, though, I think Red Skull was on the stronger side.
No, I agree. That's what I'm saying. So, I mean, like, if they're going to pull from their previous villains that have been good, I mean, besides Loki... they're either bad or they're okay. And I thought he was an okay one.
That's true. Personally, I think that some of the Captain America villains have been the best villains. Really.
Yeah, well, because they're kind of like
like conspiracy relatable. They're not like
they're
like
there's a
cosmic,
human element,
yeah,
except for the Red Skull. There's more of like a human element.
Well, it kind of is. He's just like you said, an uber Nazi.
Yeah,
is what his
but
thing's
yes,
all
I
about.
mean, if they had a reason to pull him back in, then sure, 100%, I would be on board with it.
Yeah, I mean, Hugo Weaving is a great actor. Anything he does is really great. If he wants to come back as Red Skull, I'm all about it. It's one of those things where several years ago he didn't want to do it, and I know the studio knows they wouldn't want to force him to do it, even though he is under contract, because then you don't get as good a performance, I think, from the actor if they're not passionate about the project, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, I think that's not just in your opinion. I think that's pretty well accepted.
Pretty well accepted.
Yeah.
Well, you never know. They're people. I mean, they have actors and actresses that work together and have great chemistry, and they hate each other. On set.
No.
You know?
When there's no when they hate each other on set, there is usually pretty bad chemistry.
Yeah.
I
don't know. You get that passion in there.
No, I have not seen that to be the case. Generally, whenever you hear that there is actors who really, really disliked each other, it's totally obvious in the film that they had no chemistry.
Well, we'll just have to look that up and find out. But all right, guys, so moving on to some DC news. Just a little quick thing here that came out last week. Really no big news, really more of a comment about DC movies. At a investor conference in New York, Time Warner Chairman CEO Jeff Bezos? How do you say that?
I don't know.
I know, I'm horrible at this. Anyway, he was talking to the investors about the DC movies, and so he said, quote, there is a little room for improvement in regards to the quality of the films. Now, this is all according to Variety, who went on to where the CEO talked more, saying, quote, the DC comic characters have a little more lightness in them than maybe what you saw in those movies, so we're thinking about it. Now, focused on some of the positives, he went on to talk about how Ben Affleck casting as Batman has gone over really well, and also the DC properties on TV are faring very well, too. In regards to how much the films DC movies have made, he said Batman v Superman brought in $873 million, while Suicide Squad brought in $220 million.
720.
Is it seven? What did I say?
He said 220.
Oh, there we go. So anyway, so he said as far as money-wise, they're still coming in right on track or better. The next DC film to come out is going to be Wonder Woman on June 2nd, 2017. What do you make of the comments here by the Time Warner CEO about the DC films?
Well, I mean, I think, we talked about this a little bit earlier, just us. We talked about this before.
We talked about it because we were listening to Collider Movie Talk.
Well, no, I
mean,
we've talked about this situation.
Well, because this really just reverberates what Jeff Johns,
right.
DC Entertainment president said.
Right. So, I mean, bottom line is, and I think everyone is pretty confident in saying this, that the movies, yes, had a little room for improvement. They certainly could have been better. Even people who like them surely can admit that they could have been better. But, and I've been saying this from the beginning, I don't think the problem was that they were too dark. I don't think that was the problem. I think the problem was the scripts. Like starting back with Man of Steel. We had talked about this repeatedly. Our problems with Man of Steel wasn't the tone. It was the script. It was things that they did in the story that we didn't like. Them starting with Zod as a villain. Making Superman kill in the first film. Those are
Jonathan Kent.
Right. Those are things, exactly. And those are not things that had anything to do with the tone. Those things were with the story. Same thing in Batman v Superman. The problems that... And I didn't even see Suicide Squad because I didn't really care.
That's right.
Even with Batman v Superman, the problems we had with it, besides, really, it wasn't that it was dark. And once you saw the extended cut, the brooding Superman made more sense at least. So, sure, the first time I saw it, the dark Superman didn't really make any sense. Mm-hmm. But at least the extended cut kind of explained why he was kind of that dark, brooding... Superman.
You have more of him in the film to see him react to the stuff that we saw in the theatrical cut.
And more stuff came up, the bits when they added back in with what's-her-face, the girl who was in Hunger Games.
No? What's her name?
Those few scenes they added back in with...
What is her name?
Jenna Malone. The bits that they added in with her, I thought helped kind of explain why Superman was so broody because it added more to his story.
Of course, like I said, it said why they blamed him for the stuff in Africa.
That's what I mean. So like it added to the why he was so brooding. So even the darkness of him in that movie made sense in the extended cut. So like I said, those aren't my problems. My problems were the story. Like the plot was the problem. And I think that is what we're seeing is the problem with DC. It's not the tone. You can have a really super dark movie and it still be really good if the story is good. They just are dropping the ball in the story department.
So, like I said, with Batman v Superman, the theatrical cut, I thought it was crap. Because then I went back and watched the Ultimate Cut. And they just butchered the hell out of that film. I mean, the theatrical cut was just a bunch of scenes put together that didn't even make any sense when you look at it from a character arc. You couldn't understand how they got from one point to another. With the Ultimate Cut, they inserted those bridges there to where you understood, the characters' journeys and why this was happening and why people were doing this and that. It was so much better. So from a story standpoint, I get that.
It was better. But it still was a very flawed story.
It had some flaws. No more flaws. I can't really give it many flaws now, because now if you take I'll take the Ultimate Cut of Batman v Superman and say Captain America: Civil War, which are very similar films, as far as plot points and all that, and say that it's right there storytelling wise with Civil War.
I'm not trying to say Civil War is perfect either.
No,
by
of course
no means
not. No.
are saying that there were not super gaping plot holes in that too.
For me, it had to do with the editing. Really, the editing is they took the stuff out. And I could go into a rant about how Warner Brothers still only thinks that Batman can succeed, which is why they cut all the Superman scenes for the theatrical cut. But I'm not going to get into that.
But here's the thing, though. If you think about we have said Civil War and Batman v Superman had a lot of similar plot holes. The plot in both movies definitely was lacking.
Which, by the way, I will say, after watching the commentary of Civil War with Joe and Anthony Russo, I like the movie more because all the plot holes that people have talked about that, you tell me that I'm just bullshitting my way through or whatever.
You do bullshit your way through.
They were the exact reasons they gave in the commentary. Burn.
Well, whatever. We have to watch that now. But anyway, my point is they both had what I would consider to be pretty significant plot holes. But Civil War I would still watch that one more often. So maybe it is a little bit to do with the tone too, because Batman v Superman and I think part of it too is even with Batman v Superman, I did not like Lex. Not necessarily plot wise or whatever. I did not like how Lex was portrayed.
Yeah, he's still not good. Yeah,
I still thought he was terrible.
He was better, but still not great.
Still not good. Still weird and awkward, and I just didn't like it. And anyway, so I still would rather. Even with the plot problems, I still would rather watch Civil War. I have no problem watching that one again. It has repeatability in it. It's enjoyable. It's a more fun ride.
Yeah.
And maybe it is to do a little bit with the tone, but I still just think the tone isn't the problem with the DC universe.
Yeah, I think it's just better storytelling. And I'll go ahead and say it again. Jeff Johns is on the case. Okay. He's doing the scripts now. He's getting in there. He's fixing it. He's fixed so many Marvel characters. Marvel. I said Marvel. I'm not having a good day. Fixed so many DC characters. I think I completely trust him to go in, tinker with the movies, and get it right. I think, again, looking at the Justice League trailer, you can see kind of the difference between that and the stuff that has come before it. I think they're going to get on the track. I think they're slowly getting back on the track and getting going full speed ahead. We'll just see if they get there. I'm excited for Wonder Woman still. I think that still looks good. So that'll be a good defining film just to see how well they've adjusted compared to their other movies.
I guess we'll see.
I guess. All right, so let's get on with this here, okay?
All right.
Star Wars news. Guys, last night was the first episode of Season 3 of Star Wars Rebels. If you are even a minute fan of the Star Wars universe, you have to watch Rebels. Okay?
So good.
It's so good. I was telling Lisa, I had a young coworker yesterday. I mentioned Rebels, and he said, that's a kid's show. And then I have him watch the last 5 minutes of Season 2, and he was blown away by it. So if you think it's a kid's show, yeah, it's on Disney XD, but Freddie Prinze Jr., who voices Kanan, actually said himself that they moved from Wednesdays to Saturdays because they are going to have a more not darker, but more, adult themes this season. So that's why they moved to Saturdays to kind of, get a more mature audience, I guess you could say. But anyway, episode 1 happened last night. Lisa, your just general thoughts on it.
I mean, I love watching Ezra's development through this show. And Kanan, both of them. I mean, they have had such a different journey, even though they've been on this journey together, which I don't know. It's so cool watching Ezra in his confliction and the darkness, coming out of him. Oh, yes,
we're going full spoilers, guys. So sorry.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So
we do spoilers.
Spoilers. So, yeah, I really liked in this episode just seeing the confliction in Ezra, watching him try to do things for the right reasons, but totally the wrong way. And then the same thing, I thought it was really cool watching Kanan kind of come to terms with losing his sight and kind of getting back into the Force and letting it make him stronger again. And I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think, Kanan and Ezra, from the time I saw that first episode, the first couple episodes of Star Wars Rebels, this is what we should have got with Obi-Wan and Anakin in the prequels, I thought. Their relationship is very similar and does it so much. Ezra is, I think, a better version of Anakin. I say that now, but last night's episode, gosh, he was so Anakin.
He was definitely harnessing his inner Anakin.
Because they're both things. They both want more power to help people, help protect the ones they love. Exactly. And that's what Anakin's thing was he wanted more power to help save his mother, to help save his wife. And, that's the thing. You have good intentions, people have good intentions, and they end up doing bad things because of it, trying to do the right thing. But overall, the episode was good. One thing I'd like to comment on was, beforehand, I actually tweeted Christian Harloff from Collider Jedi Council, and I was like, because he saw the episode early, I was like, okay, is it better than the season 2 premiere? And so I watched their Rebels recap episode, and he's like, you can't compare it because it's a totally different mission as to what this episode of this season is. So season 1 of Rebels, you had to establish the characters, kind of let everyone know what the characters were, what the show was about. Season 2 was really about grabbing people. They had Vader, they had Ahsoka, they had Princess Leia. They were really trying to grab the audience in season 2. And if they stuck with it to that, of course, season 2 finale,
which was awesome.
Darth Maul came up as well. So they have their audience now. So now their mission now in season 3, he says, is about taking the characters. You've sucked in the audience. Now take these characters and take them on a journey. Is what it is. So to compare the two, you really can't compare too much because honestly, how can you possibly beat that season 2 premiere with Darth Vader?
I know.
I mean, I enjoyed this episode of season 3, but it was totally different because mainly the characters are in a different place too as well.
Right.
But yeah, seeing Ezra develop as well. He's taller now. He's got shorter hair.
Well, and now he's leading missions.
Exactly.
So just watching him develop his sense of his leadership, and everyone else now, who's been treating him like a kid. Now he's in charge of them, of managing what they're doing, and so that's kind of interesting.
Just kind of go off of that a little bit. There is that switch now where Kanan is taking a back seat now because of his disability and still trying to adjust to it. And you saw in this episode, I'm not going to get to the big thing at the beginning, but just the way his crewmates are reacting to Ezra because he was the runt of the crew, Spectre 6, the last one to join the crew. And you still see how Zeb and Sabine still kind of treat him like a kid. I feel like they're kind of still adjusting to him taking that more leadership role. And I feel like that's one of the things, again, that kind of gets to Ezra a little bit as well. About him, they still look at me as a child, but even though I'm, growing up, so to speak.
Yeah.
Also, just, of course, they're questioning what he is doing as well, too. When he made a decision, everyone questioned it. Is what it was. And
because it was a questionable decision.
It was a questionable decision, but as a leader, of course, you have to be like, what's going on here? It doesn't help his dark nature, so to speak, in that instance. So, in speaking of that, the Sith holocron, we come to find out that he has been using it in secret to gain what he quotes as more power. Kanan finds out. He gets rid of it, and then he gives it to the Bendu.
Bendu.
I thought it was Bantu is what it...
You wrote down Bendu.
Okay,
it's the Bendu.
Okay, Bendu. Anyway, that's how it sounds, I guess. That's probably why I wrote it like that in the notes. But he gave it to the Bendu because he had no purpose for it. But at the end of the episode, did you notice Ezra's tone? It's like, well, what'd you do with it?
Yeah.
And we've seen in the season 3 trailer that him and Maul have the Sith and the Jedi holocron and like try to merge them. So I have every belief that either Maul or Ezra or both of them together are going to go back for that holocron. Or do they find a new one, you think?
No, I think it's probably the same one.
Same one, you think?
Yeah, I think Kanan probably is going to take Ezra to meet the Bendu.
Possibly,
I
yeah.
mean, they're still on that planet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm sure that, and Ezra said that the reason he was using the holocron was because Kanan was distancing himself. You know, Kanan was so, like, despondent. You know, he was so upset by his injury. He was kind of just, you know, he kind of, like, isolated himself. And so Ezra was wanting to learn and grow. He was growing, he was developing, he was becoming older, and he wanted to learn more things. So he turned to what he had, which was the Sith holocron. So, you know, and now that that's gone and Kanan is back, you know, I think Kanan and Ezra are probably going to start training together again. But Kanan's probably going to take him to the Bendu.
And that's the thing I loved about their relationship in season 1 as well. Where was that? It was that episode where they go to try to save the Jedi Master that Kanan knew, and it was a trap set by the Grand Inquisitor. And, you know, Kanan, he never really got the full Jedi training. It wasn't until the end of season 2 that he actually got knighted and actually became a full Jedi Knight. So he has doubts about his own abilities. You know, he doesn't see himself as a real Jedi, so that's why he doubted himself training Ezra as well.
Plus, he can sense how powerful Ezra is.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've noticed as well how much he's growing in the Force and almost, if not more powerful than Kanan, you know, at some point as well. So it makes sense that at some point he would, you know, again, have doubts seeing how much he's growing in the Force and take him to someone who he feels might be a little better suited to help Ezra, like the Bendu, even.
Yeah, so I'm sure that he's going to take him to the Bendu, so.
Let's wait and see. But okay, so, big thing about this too, Grand Admiral Thrawn. He have a big part in this one. He's gonna be the big bad, of course, this season, as we know. A lot of people are excited about it. How do you think his introduction was, especially since you're kind of fresh from starting to read or reading some of the Thrawn trilogy? How do you think he compares to what you had in your mind about the character from the book?
Well, I mean, we just got a taste of him in this.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I don't really. It's too early to tell, I think, and I'm not done with the Thrawn trilogy, and I'm halfway through the second one. I had to stop to read my book for my book club for this month.
You better hurry up because in 2 weeks. Ahsoka comes out.
Well,
did you see that? I tagged you on Twitter. Kristen Harloff got an advance copy.
No,
he always gets advance copies.
Jealous.
He gets advance copies of all that.
Wait for Ahsoka.
Thing I'm mad about is that, well, not mad, but the book comes out right in the middle of when Bryce is going to be here for his visit. So I'm like, I want to read this right away, but Bryce is going to be here.
We'll have to wait till he leaves. But no, I mean, I had to stop. I'm in the middle of the second Thrawn trilogy book right now, The Dark Force Rising. But I had to stop because I have to read my book now for the book club. But then I'll go back and finish that before Ahsoka comes out. The second one. I won't have time to read the third one before I read Ahsoka. But regardless.
Anyway, Thrawn, yeah.
So Thrawn. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think enough about him yet. And the show just gave us a tiny little snippet of him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they made it pretty clear he's going to be a big part of the season, obviously. But I don't think we know enough yet to really have much of an opinion.
To me, the definitive...
He looked cool.
Yeah, the definitive part in that episode for Thrawn was at the end where they're like, hey, we got the rebels trapped.
And he's like, let him go.
Just let him go. It's like, it's only 3 of them, you know? And he talked about, I have bigger plans.
Yeah, that's what, it's not that there's only 3 of them, it's that he has a plan.
Yeah, and
I mean, he does that in the books. That's several times in the books where he's like, no, let them go. They're not the big picture. Yeah, this is a piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. He's, you know, they're playing checkers, he's playing chess, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the beautiful thing. I think that's one thing they nailed, and will do a really good job, is that Thrawn sees the big picture. He's not about the the brawn. He's not like, let's send the TIE fighters, let's get the blasters, let's blow them up. He's like, he's gonna take them out mentally.
See, here's my thing about throwing Thrawn in. So in the books, the Thrawn trilogy, which are not canon,
they're legends. Okay.
Thrawn comes in after
Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is after Death Star's been destroyed. This is when the Rebel Alliance
you got the New Republic.
Is now the New Republic, and they're trying to establish the New Republic. So, and like I said, I haven't finished them yet, so I don't know how it all plays out, whatever. But I know that he has a plan. He is amazing. Like, the way he can think and plot out strategy is pretty amazing. So throwing him into the canon now, prior to all that, it just makes me wonder how the rebels are still going to get to the same place they got to.
I get you. It's kind of like, it's just like when people thought about, when we saw these Rebel characters or the Rogue One characters come in before the original trilogy. What happens to all these characters to where they're not in the original trilogy?
Right. Throwing Thrawn in prior to, the Death Star and all that stuff just makes me like, how do the rebels with him on their back already at this point when they're just barely becoming the rebels?
Yeah.
They're just like tiny. They're not even really very structured yet.
Hera talked about it in this episode where it's becoming a bigger movement.
Right. So how do they even get to where they get if he's in the picture now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just makes me wonder.
Well, I think it's going to be one of those things where I think it's the same thing I feel like with Ahsoka. We saw her, or think we saw her at the end of season 2, go into hiding or whatever, and it's my hope that she reappears after the original trilogy to meet up with Luke and Leia and talk about their father with them. But it's something with Thrawn where I think he's going to either suffer a major defeat in Rebels to where he's going to go away for a little while. Maybe he fails so horribly that the Empire casts him out to where he's not part of the Empire. And then he comes back later on, maybe. It depends what they have planned for him, It's what it is. He could be just in Rebels. He meets his end at Rebels, and that's it. But I think the character's way too good for that to, just put him in one thing.
Yeah.
Really.
But that's my point, too. I think that character is way too good for the Rebels to get where they got in the canon with him already.
Okay, if you have Vader and Thrawn, how the heck are these Rebels in Rogue One successfully able to steal the Death Star plans?
That's what I mean. You got Tarkin there still. You got Darth Vader, which you had before, but now you throw Thrawn into the mix too.
You have the brawn and the brains.
Yeah, so I'm just like, how do they even get to where they get? In I don't know. You see what I'm saying though?
Yeah, I totally get you.
I think it just throws the whole.
I get what you're saying. Hey, these are definitely concerns. I'm hoping these are concerns that the Star Wars story group, like Pablo Hidalgo and Dave Filoni, have thought about it. That's the thing. Their whole job in life is to sit there and think about Star Wars. God, that would be an awesome job. That would be so. Even if it's just like I could sit there, if I could sit there, and my job was either think about Star Wars or DC or Marvel.
Seriously, if you could get a job with Star Wars, I would move with you.
Yes. Okay. So Lucasfilm, that's my job.
If you got a job with Lucasfilm, we could move to wherever you needed to go.
All right. Well, you heard it first. Pablo Hidalgo, hit me up, buddy. Kathleen Kennedy, I know you got my number. All right. I know you listen to this show.
I can find a job in California.
Exactly. All right, guys. So, well, tell you what. I want to do a couple final thoughts on this before we move on to the next story. So, where do you think the season is going to go? First off,
I have no idea.
I think in the Rebels recon we saw last night, it looks like Maul's coming back next episode. Okay, because they talked about a red lightsaber. And I don't think it's Inquisitor.
No, I don't think it's Inquisitor.
It's Maul.
They think it's Inquisitor.
And we've already seen clips from Star Wars Celebration with him coming back as well.
Hey, the voice that came out of the holocron, who do you think that is? Because it sounded kind of like Ventress.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. Well, okay, in the season finale of episode 2, it's the same voice.
It's the same actress.
It's not Ventress,
but it's the same voice.
Yeah, just like Dave Filoni, he brought back what's his name to do the voice of Anakin as well. He likes to. It's kind of giving these people who worked all those season 4 and
right, but I mean, it sounded like Ventress.
It does sound like Ventress.
Like I get using the same actor, the same person, but it sounds like Ventress.
Okay. I have a theory, but I don't want to spoil it because you haven't read Dark Disciple.
Oh.
I don't know if I want to spoil it for you and give you my theory.
Okay, don't spoil it.
Okay, after
I read Dark Disciple.
Then I'll give you my theory for that. Okay, guys? All right, so looking ahead, season 3, we got Thrawn, we got, Kanan's blind, we got Ezra Darkness, which, that when you talk about the scene of that episode, it was Ezra and the Walker.
Oh, yeah.
That was the scene everyone, I think, is going to take away, where you can see that dark nature of him using the Walker against the Stormtroopers, and then just, maliciously having that Walker just fall off, and that guy falls to his doom. Mm-hmm. All because Ezra decided to mess with his mind, and he didn't feel remorse about it. That's the worst part about it, The Jedi Code 8.0, of course, this is many years ago when all I did was sit there and, live on StarWars.com, was about the Jedi is they never take a life unless it saves another or, something greater, really. Ezra didn't have to take that life, but he still chose to, which the darkness... And just the beginning, when I was watching the season 2 finale, I thought of that too, where, only someone who can wield the dark side can open the Sith holocron, okay? Which, we thought about that when he opened the holocron at the end of season 2. But even before that, when they get to, what's the planet they go to? I forget, at the end of season 2, where Yoda tells them to go. I don't know.
Oh, right.
Where the Sith temple is. And what happens is that Ezra touches the stone, and that's when stuff starts to happen. So I think it's the same thing where only someone who has the dark side in them can, use the Sith.
Well, I don't know. I don't think it's that necessarily, because I think anyone who can wield the Force has the dark and the light in them.
I'm trying to think. I watched that scene too. I'm wondering if Ahsoka was trying to read the scribe. I don't know if she touched it or not, though.
Anyway, I don't think it's so much that only some people have the dark. I think they all have the dark. They
all have the potential for it.
It's just a matter of if they're willing to use it.
The ratio,
no, it's not the
Is the glass half full or half empty?
No, it's not about the ratio either. I think anyone has the potential to harness the dark side or the light side. It's just what they choose to do. I don't think it's like they're born with an innate sense of I'm 70% dark and 30% light or whatever. I think anyone who has this is my personal opinion. I just think that anyone who has the power to wield and use and commune with the Force can choose how they want to do it. I mean, look at how many Jedi went dark. I don't think it's like that they had been hiding their darkness all along. I think the darkness was there, and it's there for all of them. Just some of them make a conscious decision to let their anger...
As opposed to
rise up, and then that part of them becomes easier to access.
You're making me think of that crazy fan theory that's going around. This guy did this video. I don't think you've seen it. One of my friends posted me it about how they think Snoke is Mace Windu, and it's like a whole 10-minute video about reasons why Mace Windu is Snoke. And while it's they're
far-fetched,
he makes some pretty good leaps. But they're reasonable leaps, It's like one of those things where, you don't see someone's point of view, but you see the logic, how they got there, He makes some pretty good logical steps in that. I think it's completely crazy, of course, and no way there. But, yeah, and anything they talked about is how when Mace Windu fought, he had fought much more like he had more darkness in him than some Jedi as well. But that's what just made me think about that.
Oh, okay.
All right, so Season 3 Rebels. What are your predictions? Okay, do you think...
I have no predictions. I just want to watch it.
Okay.
You know how I am with predictions. I know. Quit that shit.
Okay. I mean, let's get to the... let's just throw it all out here, okay? Who's dying?
I don't know.
Who of the Ghost crew is dying?
Does Chopper count?
No, you're not going to lose Chopper. It's like the family dog. You can't kill the dog.
Okay. I'm going to go with Sabine.
Sabine? No, I don't think Sabine. No, she's got... I mean, from what I hear, she's got a big, important part. I think it's Hera.
Hera?
I think it's flat out Hera.
No.
I said this last season, too. I think she's the first one of the Ghost crew to go, because it's going to be the most devastating.
To everybody.
I mean, I don't... Because here's what it is. I think when Ezra goes dark side, which... I mean, at this point, I'm not fully convinced. I think he's going to step over that line and maybe come back. But when he does go dark side, you need Kanan there to take him out. Or to bring him back or
He's
something.
He's not going to take him out.
Take him out as in, bring him back from the dark side. or kill him. Either one.
He's not gonna kill him.
Either one. Because just think about that, man. Think about it's kind of like with Obi-Wan again. I'm comparing.
Is he gonna stand over him again
No,
and be like,
no.
"You're my brother"?
No, I'm talking about how he had to fight someone that was he trained and spent all these years with, and he defeated him, and he felt so bad or remorse about it that he went into seclusion, which would see where Kanan is during the original trilogy.
I do think that Kanan and Ezra at some point are going to come to a head, but I don't think it's going to be in this season.
No, I mean I can see season 4. I can see at the end of this season Ezra going dark side, and then season 4 is about what's left of the Ghost crew taking out Ezra.
I don't know. I guess we'll see.
Okay, so the other theory I have is what's the tipping point for Ezra as well, as far as into his dark descent. I have one of my things is how I was a big believer that I felt like Darth Maul should be killed by Obi-Wan because of their history, but I can see Ezra taking out Darth Maul because he thinks he's a bad guy, so he thinks by killing him he's doing the right thing when really he's just sealing his own fate.
I don't know.
We'll just have to wait.
I'm not going to speculate. You know how I am.
Anyway, guys, so the whole point of all this is if you're not watching Rebels, first off, we just spoiled the first couple seasons for you, so you can jump right in on season 3, episode 2 now, and also watch it. Okay, season 1. Did I tell you Holly's watching it?
No.
Yeah, she messaged me the other day, said her roommate has Disney XD, and she started season 1 because she said Ahsoka's in this, right? I'm like, Ahsoka's in season 2. Season 1's very quick. It's like 13 episodes, then you get season 2, which is the really good stuff. I told her after you finish that first episode of season 2, text me and tell me how awesome you think it is, so.
Ahsoka's pretty awesome.
Exactly. Well, just the episode in general with Darth Vader and all that. But okay, guys. So I think we spent enough time on this. We're running out of time, so we'll go through a few more stories real quick here. Sticking with Star Wars, writer Jason Aaron, who is doing the Star Wars comic book, said that in issue 23 we are going to get a Yoda standalone story. Said, quote, "I was always trying to figure out how to put Yoda in there in some way. We're a bit hamstrung in terms of time period in our main story because Yoda's chilling in Dagobah. So that
he's chilling.
He's chilling, right? He's meditating probably because this. Just so you know, guys, the main Star Wars comic takes place between episode 4 and 5. Okay, so just for clarification. I can't speak today. Going back to what Aaron said, quote, "So this was kind of the only way we could kill 2 birds with 1 stone, to do one story that connects Luke, Yoda, and Obi-Wan all at the same time while still taking place in 3 different time periods. We've seen Yoda as a teacher, as the wise Jedi Master, but I wanted to see Yoda just as the Jedi. The other big challenge for Yoda, of course, is finding something that's a challenge for him, right? What can pose a threat to Yoda? I think we came up with an interesting answer to that question. It does take place before the Phantom Menace. We get to briefly see appearances by Qui-Gon and young Obi-Wan, so we'll probably help date that. I'm trying to find a balance between the serious, wise Jedi Master and that sort of sense of playfulness in Yoda as well." So we're getting this Yoda standalone story. It's really weird because it goes in the current comic. Luke has a hold of Obi-Wan's journal. And in the comic, what I love is that he's reading the journal, and then we get these single issues of old Obi-Wan adventures that take place between episode 3 and 4, which are fantastic. And it just wants all of us fans to crave an Obi-Wan standalone story that much more. But now he's going and he's reading Obi-Wan's journal. So he's reading this story about Obi-Wan, who's telling a story about Yoda. So it's like a dream within a dream, if kind of like Inception style with that. But a Yoda standalone story, young Yoda. They say young Yoda, but he's still 800-something years old. Yeah. So, but anyway, a pre-Phantom Menace Yoda story. What do you think?
I think that sounds cool. I mean, I don't really get into the comics as much, mostly because I do most of my reading via Audible in the car.
Yeah, you fell behind on comics.
Yeah, well, it's because I have to sit and physically hold them in my hand and
I think you've still read the best ones, like the volume 1 and volume 2 of the Star Wars series that Aaron is writing, and then the Kanan comic. Those are still my 2 favorites. Yeah. So you still got the good stuff.
I think it sounds cool. I mean, I'm not going to read it, but I'm not likely to read it.
I'll tell you about it.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just saying because I like to do my reading in the car. I like to listen to audiobooks. So I can't really listen to comic books. That doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense. So, I mean, I think it sounds neat, though.
If it's cool and it goes on sale, I like to get my Kindle on sale graphic novel. I'll put in the Kindle queue and you can read it that way if it's any good.
I still can't read it in the car, though.
Anyway, but the one thing I like, too, is they talk about, also, it's pre-Phantom Menace. We're going to see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. And that's a relationship I love seeing more of, because it was so briefly. Obi-Wan and Anakin, we got the Clone Wars, we got a couple movies. We saw that relationship. It was great. The Qui-Gon Obi-Wan, I always wanted to explore more. There are several books about it. There's even a couple comic miniseries about it, too. I always say on a Jedi Council, they were talking about, okay, if you were a Padawan, who would you want to be your master?
Obi-Wan.
And most of them said, I would agree with them, Qui-Gon. I'd like,
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, no, I think Qui-Gon would be more fun. Because again, he is a bit more brash.
See, that's probably why I would.
Okay,
have
see,
Obi-Wan.
there we go. Yes, because you're a little more controlled than some of us. Yes.
I would rather have Obi-Wan.
Yes,
he would suit me
Qui-Gon's
better.
a little more defiant, where Obi-Wan's more, play by the rules. So it's
rather
kind of like the
have
difference
Obi-Wan.
between Kirk and Picard in Star Trek. Oh my God, I just made a Star Trek reference talking about Star Wars. Somebody shoot me. Anyway, but yeah, so that comic's coming out. I'll let you know if it's any good and see if you guys need to check it out. So the last bit of Star Wars news kind of feeds into Marvel as well. Disney chief Bob Iger was talking at the Goldman Sachs Communicopia, I said that right, conference, and talked about how they have plans for Star Wars movies that stretch way past 2021. In regards to talking about Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, he said he and her have sat down and they have already talked about all the films that are coming up, not only the ones that are announced, but also the ones that haven't been announced as well. Said, quote, so she's not just making a Star Wars movie, she's making a Star Wars universe of sorts. And then I know one thing that I forgot to put in the notes here, that they also mentioned that they've already got a writer working on the third standalone film. They haven't said what the standalone film is, but they have someone writing it right now. And then he went on to also talk to these conference about the Marvel as well. We're talking same, very similar about, hey, guess what? We got more stuff planned than what we've announced. And he said, quote, we had a similar meeting at Marvel with about a week and a half ago as far as the plots of the films, where we've got movies in either development or production, some nearing completion through the end of this decade. So there you go. We've heard kind of a story very similar to this about how the plans they have for Star Wars, but how Marvel and Star Wars are not going anywhere.
No.
They're going to keep on going. To me, the chunk of this that I like is that the part, like I said, I didn't put in the notes, is that they are working on the third standalone film. When do you think we're going to hear what it is?
I don't. Why do you ask me those questions? I never will answer that.
This whole thing is about speculation.
No.
That's the best part about being a fan, is you get to speculate. It's like, who is Snoke? Who are Rey's parents?
But we don't know.
But we get to speculate.
I don't like to speculate.
The fun. That's the interactive part of being a fan, is talking about it.
Yeah, and talking about what's already happened, not about what you think might happen in the future.
No.
I don't like to speculate.
Gosh, you're so boring. Okay? Anyway, but yes. So I would love, here's my dream amongst dreams, of course. Star Wars Celebration 2017, 40th anniversary. You and I are going to be in there, Orlando. We go to one.
And Nora.
And Nora will be there, okay. We're at a panel. All of a sudden, they bring out Ewan McGregor. Obi-Wan stands alone.
Can you even imagine what that would be like?
Oh my God. The entire convention center would just explode from excitement.
Do you know who would be super jealous if we got to be even remotely close to him?
Your mom.
My mom.
Yes, right. Your mom would.
She has such a crush on him.
I know. Oh my God, that would be. That's what I think they're gonna announce what it's gonna be before then, though. It's still, we still have what, 7 months or 6 months away from Celebration.
Yeah, it's in April.
So we still have enough time. I think they're probably gonna announce it before that. I imagine they'll probably announce what it's going to be around the time Rogue One comes out.
Guess we'll see.
We'll see. And if it's not Obi-Wan, which, my God, they have to make an Obi-Wan movie, it's going to be, the Celebration will be announcing like cast or directors of it or something like that. So that's my speculation. Okay?
Okay.
So get in the game. Okay?
All right, fine.
This is what we do. Play the game. All right? All right, guys. So we got time for just probably one more story. Yes, we do. just a quick one. I'm going to skip some of this other stuff. I'll talk about it on Tuesday. The last thing I know Lisa wanted to talk about is the new trailer has dropped, or the first trailer really, for Passengers. It's the film from Morton Tildum. I think I totally know I misspelled his last name. He directed Headhunters and The Imitation Game. And this film stars Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. Now, in this trailer, we see Pratt, who plays Preston, and Lawrence, who plays Aurora, on this colony ship called the Avalon. Now, these guys were in suspended animation on a 100-year journey across the stars when they got woken up 90 years before they were supposed to. So when we jump into this trailer, allegedly they've been awake for a year now, trying to figure out a way to re-enter hibernation and have been unsuccessful. And throughout the course of the film, stuff happens to which they have to save the ship, save everyone still asleep, and, work together to, survive in space, so to speak. So the first trailer came out. It also stars Michael Sheen and Lawrence Fishburne and comes out on December 21st. That's like a week after Rogue One, I think, or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Christmas time, So we'll have to take a break. After seeing Rogue One twice, we'll go see Passengers, and then we'll go back and see Rogue One again. Okay. Maybe. But anyway, you saw this trailer. What do you think?
I think it looks really cool. I mean, I am all about, like sci-fi type stuff. This movie looks right up my alley in terms of things that, like, movies that I'm interested in.
I know you never saw this film, but it gives me a Sunshine vibe. The film that had Chris Evans in it, where they're like going into the sun or whatever, and stuff starts to go wrong. Mm-hmm. I got kind of that. The ship looks really weird. I'm like, this isn't a ship. This is a Christmas ornament.
It does look kind of like Christmas ornament, you're right?
Exactly. Which, there you go, Christmas ornament coming out.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that the premise looked cool. I mean, I think Lawrence and Pratt, I think their chemistry is going to be pretty good. Like, it looked pretty good in the trailer. I think it's going to be interesting just to see what's actually happening. And then there was like that little tiny thing right at the end of the trailer where Chris Pratt's character,
he like goes out into space to try to fix something.
He says something right at the end, basically saying he knows what happened. Like, yeah. So I think this is going to be a lot more than I think this is going to be one of those movies with like a twist at the end. Like, it's not going to be as clear cut, I think, as we think it's going to be. I think it looks really cool.
I think it looks. I'm just surprised this is the first trailer we got. I mean, granted, we're still 3 months out or so, but with these days the movies you expect to get more earlier. Especially the fact that it's such a highly anticipated film, mainly because of who's in it. It's Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pratt. Yeah. Watching this trailer, if it wasn't those two that I know are more than capable of those two, if it's just those two in the movie for most of the time, it's same as like, say, Castaway. It's just Tom Hanks most of the movie. He's a good enough actor. He can carry the movie just by himself. Yeah. If it's just these two for most of the movie, I know these two are good enough to carry a film. Well,
and especially if it's these two with snippets of Lawrence Fishburne and Michael Sheen, they just are going to be like icing on the cake. Like, they're both awesome too. So
and somebody, I mean, they planned this perfectly because Chris Pratt, probably arguably the hottest actor right now in Hollywood, and Jennifer Lawrence, of course, she's been on a hot streak for a while now. So it's the perfect. It's one of the things where now in Hollywood, actors don't bring in an audience like they used to. But I think this is one of those films that could definitely bring in the audience because, again, I love Jennifer Lawrence. I love Chris Pratt. Just if you told me it was them, I'd go see the movie, not even thinking about what it is.
Well, and then when you and then adding to that the trailer looks cool.
Yeah, like had that sci-fi vibe, which falls in our wheelhouse as well. So yeah, I mean, I think the trailer will look pretty good. I want to see another trailer, of course, but then again, I don't.
I know. I almost don't want to now because I already want to see it, and I don't want another trailer to give anything away.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. But either way, trailer looked awesome. Go and check it out, guys. It's on YouTube, and tell us what you think. That's it, guys. We ran out of time. There's a few other things that I had on the notes, but luckily, I still have another day off this week, so I'll sit down on Tuesday and talk about it. I've got some new casting as regards to the Robin Hood film, and of course, I have to talk about the new posters that came out for the Power Rangers film, something which I don't think Lisa has too much to add to, as you can see by her tone. So, I'll bring enough excitement to, add to that conversation. Maybe I'll try to get someone here with me we'll just have to wait and see. Also, I'm going to talk about on Tuesday the new Doctor Who spinoff news. I'm going to bring in our resident Doctor Who expert,
My mom.
her mom, who is a crazed Doctor Who fan, and we'll do a little snippet where she can talk to us about what the heck is going on with this Doctor Who spinoff called, what is it? The Class. Or Class? Or
Class.
Just Class. Okay, cool. But that's going to be it for us today, guys. Of course, let us know what you think. Hit us up at dayspringdiscussions@gmail.com. The Facebook group I told you last week I was doing my geekies. So each day so far, I have posted another category. So far, the most response I've got from is Best Supporting Male and Worst Live Action Series.
I haven't voted on anything, but that's just because I haven't seen any of
I know,
I
but
have no opinion.
but that's where you have to go.
It would be completely like bullshitting for me.
Today's I put up was Best Lead Female. And I did put Haley Atwell there as Agent Carter.
Well, yeah, but I can't say she's the best. She's the only one I've seen.
You support the show.
I love her.
Yeah,
but...
you should add her then. Just vote for it, okay? So yeah, so I got 5 categories up there right now, guys. So go online, vote for those. Tomorrow I'm going to do Best Male in a Live Action Series, and then Tuesday I'll round it off with Best Live Action Series in general. You can also find us on the Twitter page. Hit us up there. And, interact with us, guys. Hit us up on iTunes and rate us. See how good you think we're doing and let us know. You can also find us on Podomatic. Rate us on there, too. So, I guess that's it. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for us today. Until next time, may the Force be with us all.